There are very few car brands capable of delivering emotion, but Alfa Romeo is one of them. This year, Alfa Romeo celebrated 110 years of a history of performance, speed, racing and competition. A milestone honoured with a special acronym, GTA, or Gran Turismo alla Garita, Gran Tura Lightweight. That is the voice of the new Giulia GTA. We couldn't wait to hear it live, and we wanted to share it with you before including you in the latest tests that the development mules are doing these days. Waiting for the defined version of this sports car to show what it can do on the road and on the track. We're in Pomigliano d'Arco in one of the plants where Alfa Romeo is preparing final tuning for the prototype cars. And here we can talk to the people who worked on the GTA project. Hi Domenico, let's see what's literally underneath this special car. How about that? We started with an excellent car and optimized it by working the micro aerodynamics, i.e. on the aerodynamic details. Specifically here, the air enters from the front, meets these aerodynamic fins which, by creating turbulence, manage the vacuum in the front of the car, increasing the load on it. Looking there towards the rear of the car, the underneath of the car is basically faired. The exhaust systems are straight and therefore arrive straight towards the center. I took the liberty of completely redesigning the rear diffuser to achieve very good performance.
Holding your breath still, you jump the fire, we'll just sit and wait till.
Here, Domenico, I see a shape that's very recognizable to sports car and motorsport fans. Yes, it's the NACA duct, which is famous for having no aerodynamic drag problems and allows us to cool the electronic rear differential, which we'll expand on later. And subsequently, the air arrives at the rear and finds the new carbon diffuser, which, together with the central exit of the exhausts, allows us a redesign that favours better aerodynamic efficiency. Obviously, we paid attention, as is done in racing cars, to all the airflow that passes under the car, which, together with the aerodynamic accessories, allows us to manage the right balance of the car.
Look at them now, all of the noise they make, counting the cards to one.
And then, Domenico, there is a characteristic of the project that's not yet been discussed this month: splitter adjustment. Yes, the splitter and spoiler adjustment, which allow our customers who want to bring the car on the track for the motor day to customize both the rear and front load. On the splitter, for example, by working on these 3 screws, it's possible to extract and modify its length and therefore change the load of the front of the car. Similarly, the scope of the car's spoiler can be changed to balance and load according to the shape of the track and the driver's driving style. If we've achieved these results, it's also thanks to the collaboration of Sauber Engineering. In absolute amounts, we've managed to obtain a downforce load value for the GTA that's 1.5 greater than that of the Quadrifoglio, while for the GTA M, it's 3 times greater. And furthermore, when the aerodynamic profile is pulled out, it can only be used on the track, right? Right, when the splitter is pulled out, there will be writing that will remind the customer that this is for track use only. I'd like to tell you about a series of measurements that were made to reach the specific power of 186 horsepower per litre to the 540 horsepower 2.9 litre V6, such as the redesign of the connecting rods and pistons, which are cooled by 4 oil jets instead of 2, or the turbochargers that revolve at 200,000 RPM. Added to all of this is an evolution of the electronics that control the engine with the increase in performance, without sacrifices such as deactivating 3 out of 6 cylinders in quiet driving conditions to limit consumption and emissions. In this test session, the GTA was also placed on the so-called elasto-kinematic bench for the suspension, which validates the unique angles of the wheels in relation to the simulations calculated by the designers. By applying, with the machinery you see, longitudinal and lateral forces that reproduce driving on the road, it's verified that by moving the suspension in compression and extension, the variations in camber and toe are not affected by other elements, like the anti-roll bars or the connection bushings to the car body. This, in short, is the moment in which the reference dimensions of the setup get fixed, on which the steering response, and in general the wonderful dynamic behaviour of the Giulia we already know, which has been further improved for the GTA and the GTA M with specific adjustments. But now follow me, let's enter together this very interesting laboratory that's here in Pomigliano, the electromagnetic anechoic chamber. In this chamber, 2 types of surveys are done. In the first scenario, sources that emit electromagnetic signals external to the car are reproduced to study how much the interior of the passenger compartment is shielded, thus isolating any disturbances to onboard devices, as well as electronic control units and related wiring. In the other test, the car becomes the source of electromagnetism, and checks are made to see if there may be interference that can disturb the surrounding environment to protect the car from being a source of electromagnetic pollution. New materials have been used on the GTA and, above all, on the GTA M, which interact in a different way with the electromagnetic fields compared to the standard Giulias, which is why specific measurements are made to analyse the behaviour of the carbon fibre used for the aerodynamic elements of the bodywork, the polycarbonate of the rear window and of the side windows, and the protective roll cage mounted in place of the rear seat. These technical insights make you want to know more about how the work on aerodynamics and the engine affect the car moving on the road, the suspension, the brakes, the steering, and the electronics. But first, let's find out how the GTA is made, moving to the plant where it's built in Cassino. The Giulia GTA and the GTA M are limited editions produced in the same factory, where the other versions of the Giulia and Stelvio are also assembled, including the sporty Quadrifoglio. And the distinctiveness of both GTAs is obvious by the dedicated processes that have been designed for fulfillment. The bumper, in particular, arrives at the factory after being moulded by a supplier that specialises in carbon fibre components. It's painted here in Cassino in the colours specific to the GTA and is taken over by a team of specialised employees who are committed to its assembly before being sent to the department where it'll be combined with the bodywork on the assembly line, where their technicians will validate all of the specific parts developed and fine-tuned on the prototypes. The passage in the assembly line of the first advanced pre-production cars represents the moment of truth in the development of a new project. It's the moment when the parts of the car are put together for the first time and in which the manufacturability of a car is endured. The beauty of the Giulia GTA is that it also adds the craftsmanship of the details. They are often made manually, and some of these are made by our prototype department. There is also craftsmanship about the operations, which were implemented during the production process. The GTA is a special car, not only for its technical characteristics or its performance, but also because it's built as a special car. This is the case with the single nut wheel, which is unique for a road-going sedan. Let Pierluigi tell us how many Newton meters of torque this torque wrench has. 850! 850! What is its distinctiveness? Well, the distinctiveness is this. Inside the nut there are some grip cylinders that are chamfered to avoid damage in the production phase of the wheel socket. The socket wrench must be inserted with great care because it's very important that you can move to the top, as the socket wrench is very long. The Giulia GTA and GTA M are the only road sedans in the world to be marketed with the single nut fixing system for the wheels. This is a typical solution of the higher performance supercar versions and confirms that this Giulia was conceived using a high performance sports car as a starting point. It was possible to do all of this by exploiting the versatility of a factory like the one in Cassino, set up precisely to perform very different tasks at the same time. The GTA is a source of pride for us. It's the first time that a limited edition car with a high sporty profile has been produced in Cassino. Part of the production of this car was a challenge because some assemblies were handcrafted, but we can say that it was a victory because from the early planning phases we were able to involve our team leaders. The factory here in Cassino has a lean production, especially in regards to assembly. We differ from the old hierarchies. The team leader, a skilled worker, is linked to the coordination of 6 other workers. In the case of the GTA, the team leader studied virtually every specific component of the car in detail and, together with the manufacturing, participated in the drafting of the assembly sites with the target of simplifying them as much as possible in order to insert this very special car into the factory line. This is where the production path of the GTA separates from the Giulia and Stelvio lines. The assembly phases of the special components of this version begin. As you can see on the GTA M, the rear doors are removed to give more freedom of movement during the assembly process of the dedicated housings. From the transmission tunnel to the unique bench with helmet storage for use during track days. The protective structure of the roll cage can be in different colours, combined with the colour of the internal finishes, as well as the 6-point safety belts which arrive in the production line inside locked cabinets, which only the employees authorised to work in this department dedicated to the Giulia GTA can access. The rear spoiler is also fixed here at the end of the line by placing the central portion of the aerodynamic profile in position, which, as we've said, can be adjusted to several positions. All this takes place before the last step, that of quality control, carried out by workers dedicated to the Giulia GTA and GTA M. After talking about the technical developments that led to the description of the GTA project and seeing how it's built, it's time to find out how it performs on the road. Final versions of the GTA and GTA M will be available next year. Despite this, we asked the engineer Bagnasso to accompany him driving a prototype car on the roads around Turin, where technicians are making final prototype adjustments. So we've fawned over the GTA at a standstill, but now we're finally behind the wheel and we can observe how the car in motion performs after all the interventions we've seen. Having to make a car that was sporty, we continued to work on pure rear-wheel drive, which is historically an important element of Alfa Romeo. To live up to the GTA? That's right. We worked on the axle tracks, on the balance of the front and rear suspension, and of course on the calibration of the electronics. Comparable to skiing, we're carving on asphalt. We were able to get a lively feel, an immediate entry on the road, such that the wheels seemed to engrave the asphalt. We worked on torque vectoring, the electronic differential, to maximize corner entry and exit speed. We obviously tuned the steering as well, and this combination of tyre and car allows us to achieve this carving effect. Look here, when cornering. The immediacy and precision of the steering gives you driving pleasure. The nannies lessen their grip as you go from advanced to natural and dynamic, the latter representing precisely the Alfa Romeo spirit, because it gives you the most freedom to set up the car. In race mode, the car's been further optimized to give the maximum on the track and allows the greatest performative exploitation of the car. We have two different souls. On the one hand, race mode for the track, and once the track day is over, we return home with a comfortable and easy to drive car. Well, we just needed this first taste on the road, and on the other hand, the GTA project was born taking inspiration from the history of this very important acronym for Alfa Romeo, which has always been linked to performance and driving emotion. Let's retrace the journey the designers made, a journey that led them to define this new Giulia. Certainly, you've already learned about this car's technical side. Regarding style, however, we worked hand in hand with the technicians so that the style was in perfect symbiosis with the engineering. These slots you see are not purely aesthetic, but are useful for letting more air into the engine compartment. Even these metal grids offer the best air entry in terms of permeability. All these shapes you see are used to bring air to the intercooler, as well as aerodynamic airflow along the sides of the vehicle. This was done in conjunction with the Sauber team, which is dedicated to extreme cars. I'm talking about Formula One, where style has very little importance. The union between these two worlds has been a source of enrichment, especially for us, but I think they too have learned something. We explained to them how necessary it is that in addition to the technical part, that also the styling is consistent with the Alfa Romeo brand. About the back of the car, you see the 20-inch wheels with center locking. We needed a specific track, about 30mm wider for each part and within the wheels. We tried to do our best to make them as light as possible, knowing the car is rear-wheel drive. We didn't want to paint the carbon fiber fender. This was discussed at length. Sure, the car would have been aesthetically cleaner, but we didn't want to hide the material used, so we left it bare. We worked in upper and lower parts of the car's rear, redesigning it completely from the quadrifoglio, so that the underside of the car can make the most of the aerodynamic flow. The rear wing has a very particular shape for two reasons: function and history. It recalls the historic Giulia, if you remember, which has a shape higher on the haunches and lower in the center, which doesn't have a stylistic purpose, but a technical one. With the wing, we needed to maximize downforce, especially in the middle of the car. We've repeated this shape here in the upper part of the car to give it a homogeneity with what is in the lower part of the car. What about the interior? How has the design enhanced the personality of the GTA? Let's start from the rear seat of the GTA M car. Our goal was to lighten the car, so we removed the rear seats and replaced them with a bench that has helmet hooks for when you go to the track. This element was made of Alcantara, a quality material that's lighter than leather and favors performance. In the central part of the bench there's a fire extinguisher, which is obviously important when racing. The whole thing is branded with the GTA M logo, which has been embroidered at the top of the bench. And of course it's nice for the driver to see the car's badge through the rear view mirror. All the elements have also been removed from the rear doors because they're not needed due to the lack of rear passengers. We decided to use Alcantara because it's a material that doesn't create reflections, and as mentioned, it's much lighter than leather, so as to let the driver experience the true essence of driving. Much of the work was done to the seat, developed with our partner, Sabelt. It envelops you with its carbon fiber shell and adjustability. The driver can also adjust the aerodynamics to use the car on the track. We decided to replace the door handle with this fabric pull, again giving the impression of a real race car to the driver. As you've seen, a lot of work has been done to both the GTA and GTA M, knowing that these models will become collector's items for many customers. We spoke with Roberto Caronjo, the designer responsible for the colours and materials, in the atelier, where specific Alfa Romeo graphics were used for the helmet, suit, gloves and shoes that customers will get with their car. They were made in collaboration with our suppliers Bell and Alpine Star. Another element where the approach has changed compared to the past is in the treatment of carbon, like the mirrors for example, on which the composite fibre has an orientation that changes direction and was done by hand with great care to achieve this particular effect. In addition to the Alcantara and leather, the roll cage materials, the seat belts and the new Alfa Romeo logo redesigned to be more gritty. Well, there's also the paint options. Particular processes were explored to make better use of light and to give greater depth to the colours compared to the three-layer colours, which are already typical of the Alfa Romeo brand. We did some experiments with liveries on the sides and on the hood, regardless of whether they would go into production, hoping to satisfy all those customers, particularly those linked to the history of the Bichon brand.
Legati alla storia del marchio del Bichon.
We started from Pomigliano d'Arco, the native land of engineer Nicola Romeo, who gave the name to the Alfa brand, and we couldn't visit without touring Bichon House at the Historical Museum of Arezzo, because here is something very special that we wanted to reacquaint with: the original Giulia GTA. The original GTA was limited to 500 examples, the necessary number for homologation. Its acronym contains its most important adjustment. The A is for alleggerita, the Italian word for lightened. The body, in fact, was designed by Giugiaro for Beton for the Giulia Sprint GT 3 years earlier. The panels are replaced with Paralumen 25, a light alloy that leads to a weight reduction of 200 kilograms. The 1.6-litre twin-cam Alfa Romeo engine is equipped with a dual ignition head, with 15 additional horsepower. This is a small increase, but it is the starting point for the development of other cars made by Autodelta, allowing the GTA to win in all categories for many years. The slogan was, "A win every day with an everyday car." And this represents one of the fundamental concepts of Alfa Romeo during that period: the will to race and win, with a car that was identical to the one that customers could buy themselves. A very particular shape, very Italian, which represented the perfect balance between shape and function. I mean that every line and every detail was born for a technical need too, designed to make it stronger, but above all, to give a driving pleasure typical of Alfa Romeo. Well, we've shown you the Giulia GTA taking shape, shown you the places where it's built and developed, and exploring where it was born, inspired by a story that continues to make enthusiasts' hearts beat faster. Consider it a sneak peek until we get to see the GTA on the road and on the circuit sometime soon.
dua.
At Ceratec, ceramic tile is a passion. Since 1949, we have been deeply involved in the manufacturing, distribution, sales, quality control, and delivery of ceramic tiles. With this passion and our hands-on approach to manufacturing, we have forged a proud history of industry leadership that spans 60 years. In this series, we will attempt to demystify the process of manufacturing ceramic tiles. Tiles are made from basic components that are readily available from Mother Earth. Raw materials such as sand, white clays, talc, feldspar, illitic and kaolinitic clays, calcite, and dolomite are quarried and refined. Using heavy construction equipment, the raw materials are brought to the plant where they are stored prior to mixing. They are placed in holding areas, classified by type using a simple numeric reference system. The raw materials are mixed in specific proportions by weight. The specified mixture is achieved by varying the speed of the conveyors that feed a master conveyor. The conveyor dumps the mixture of raw materials into a storage tank. The mixture is then fed into a series of mixing tanks with water and ceramic pellets to form a liquid material called slurry. The slurry is then transferred to large underground storage tanks, then fed into an atomizer. The atomizer is equipped with a nozzle. The nozzle sprays the slurry into the middle of a large tank that is fed with a current of hot air. As the slurry becomes airborne, it rapidly dries to form atomized powder. The atomized powder is fed into a holding vat just behind the press. The vat releases measured quantities of atomized powder into a tray, which distributes the powder evenly into the mold. A force of 340 to 400 kilograms per square centimeter is applied using a large hydraulic press. The combination of high pressure and residual moisture turns the powder into a solid mass. After the body is formed, it is dried further to remove most of the remaining moisture. It is important to remove the moisture in order to keep the product stable during the cooking process in the kiln. This guarantees that the product will come out of the kiln as a solid homogeneous material, free of physical weaknesses or defects. Tiles are placed in temporary storage bins at various stages of the production process until they're required for different stages. This also allows time to adjust and repair equipment. Glazing and screening serve both a practical and artistic purpose. They form an important part of the finished product because they provide aesthetic beauty, water repellency, durability, and hygienic properties to the tile. Roller screens are commonly used to apply design and color, layer by layer, to the bisque of the tile. Greater design variation can be achieved by adding roller screens to the line. Numerous test runs can be made to verify the quality of finish, trueness of design, and color definition before the final formulation is qualified and accepted. Glaze is essentially a glass-like substance and is applied to the surface of the tile by spray, waterfall, screening, or dry glazing methods. After the glaze is applied, the tile is fired in the kiln. There are different types of kilns, but the roller hearth kiln seen here is by far the most efficient. Temperatures in this type of kiln can reach as high as 1190 degrees Celsius. The kiln solidifies the glaze and removes all residual moisture in the ceramic. At this point, we basically have the final product. To ensure quality, the finished product is inspected and verified for any imperfections. Caliber, shade, and quality are validated by mechanical and human means. The information about each tile is used to sort and box the material accordingly. Boxes are marked with the quality, shade, and caliber specifications and placed on the appropriate pallet. Once the pallets are stacked, they are placed in the yard, ready to be shipped. In the development of our ceramic lines, we have learned a great deal about tile. We hope that by sharing with you, we have also shared the passion we have for the products we proudly make and distribute. Rest assured that our commitment to quality will never be equaled. By increasing our knowledge of the tile manufacturing process, we enhance our ability to ensure that our products are always made to our highest standards at every stage of production.
Hello, this is also for paper stone making machine. And we make the full model of paper stone making machine. And this model you saw is for HT 60 model. That means 6 pieces of cutter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. And also we have HT 50 model. That means 5 brands. And HT 70. That means 7 brands. And the biggest one is HT 100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That one is for 10 brands. The speed can match is 1 minute can to get 100 meter of paper. It means the 1 hour capacity to make the paper strong is 30,000 pieces of paper strong. Okay, so this is the control panel for that machine. And then we back to HT 60 model. So for this whole machine, it includes the paper roll, glue unit, and for forming unit, and for cutting, and then you can connect with the dry machine. Okay, so we start from here. For this paper, there are 3 kinds of paper to make the paper strong for completer. This is for the inner, for the middle paper, and the outer paper. And each the diameter is the wide is different. For the inner is 13.7 millimeter, and for the middle is 14 millimeter, and for the outer is 15 millimeter. And even for the weight, for this one the weight is the same, is 120 gram square meter, and this one is light, is 60 gram square meter. And for each the diameter, for outer diameter is suitable for 600 to 650 millimeter. And for this paper roll, it's around need 20 or 25 will be finished. Then machine will be stopped and to put the new one. Once the machine stop, then you will be you can see from here to paper in feed the machine. You should do it again. So that's why now it takes much time to stop the machine and also to change the new paper and to in feed again. So that will be waste time, although waste material, similar like this. That's why we have the better solution is for auto paper roll. This one, and this one is for auto paper roll. It means you don't to stop the machine. The machine, once the paper is finished, is automatic connection. Then to produce the paper strong again. So for this one, and the paper will be going to the glue. For in the paper, we will become like this way inside, and like this way going to, so that will be for the oil. That is vegetable oil for food, and they have the speed adjuster and turn on or off here to control the speed of this the oil. And for middle layer, that will be with the glue, both sides with the glue inside. And for the outer paper will be with the one side glue. So similar like that way. So going to the machine. Okay. And one more actual function for choice is for this. This is glue heating. It means it's suitable for some customers, they live in the colder temperature, so that need this heating glue for if it's too cold, the glue will be frozen. That's why we end this function for the customer. Like the north of Europe in winter, it's very cold, so it's hard to make the paper strong without glue heating. So we end this one for this glue heating, and also for this part, for here this part for heating. Okay, so and you can see there has one. This is in code. We use the Omron from Japan. That is to send the signal of how many meter paper into the machine. They get accurate meter going to the machine. That will be send this signal to this program. And this program also will send a signal to the servo motor. So will be servo motor is here. This is one servo motor, 0.5 kilowatt. And we also have another servo motor is 1.5 kilowatt. So that get the collector meter in feed the machine. Then let the cutting machine to collect exactly paper strong to work. So it can help the paper into the machines will be not happen the paper jam. If the paper jam, so you couldn't to make the paper strong very well. Okay, so this forming the forming unit is for the paper, and you can make the different mold paper strong. For example, diameter 6, diameter 10, diameter 12, and diameter 8. So you change the mold here. Okay, and also for the belt, we will give you the spray press for the belt and also for the cutting. Now we test in the speed is low because for the customer to learn how to make the paper strong. Okay, that's why it's very useful that if you never to touch this machine, it's better to send someone from other country to here to learn to make the paper strong. And once the paper strong you make is very low, so you can choose the speed here. Now it's the low speed, that is only for test. Once if you're running very low, then you can choose the middle speed and the high speed. And that will be very convenient for the customer. No need to set any data. They just change the speed in here in button. Okay, and so once after we cut the waste material for like that one, this is the waste material. We will be to drop into here, not go into the dryer machine. So you can put this box in here. Okay, and then the paper strong machine will be going to the dryer machine. This machine, and this machine we have the different, for example, the temperature and the fan speed, convenience switch. So you can speed, you can match with the machine speed by yourself. Okay, and for that one, we search with Chinese and English, and for the customer is English for the for whole page. So once we change the different diameter of paper strong, you to set up only for paper in the diameter this change. For example, now is 5.3. That make the diameter 6, and once you make the diameter 8 paper strong, that will be 8.3. And also for okay, you only change this one and this one. That's all. So nothing to change. The convenience is very convenient and easy to operation for that machine. And also for the electric components, we use the main brand. We use Schneider France, and so that will be easy for you to find this brand from your local market. And also we will give you free spare parts for the mold. Each mold with 2 pieces. For example, you can get diameter 6 2-piece mold, and also for the belt and the cutter. This cutter has 6 pieces, so one cutter you can use 6 months, and for the belt you can use 3 months. Then you change it, and also for other spare parts we will free to give you. Okay. So the whole machine with the stainless steel and with the cover. Okay. So if you have any question for this machine, you can send the inquiry to us. Okay. 这个这么好，不要给问题。
这个快了。
好，去办公室。
你不要问他一个问题，说机器简单操纵。
So how about the machine you're running? Could you give me some suggestions for my new customer?
Yes. We set the machine up for a 6mm straw.
Yes.
And it's taken a little while to get used to setting up the forming engine.
Okay.
This is basically the most labor-intensive part of the whole process, simply because you need to get the angles right.
Okay.
And once you get the angles right, the rest of the operation is quite straightforward.
Okay.
This is the most frustrating part. Can consume many minutes, hours, maybe even days.
Yes. This is for the new one to learn.
For a learning process.
Yes. Yes.
And otherwise, my whole experience here has been very positive. I have found the staff here very accommodative and very forthcoming, very helpful in teaching and communicating the whole essence of making paper, making paper straws. And I think it's probably the best way to learn about making paper straws. That is through a factory visit, such as the one I'm going through at the moment. And have all the resources at your fingertips from Cindy and her team, as well as the engineers, to see perfectly.
So how about you think about our company and our machine?
I think the machine is very well built. As you can see, it's running very, very smoothly. And I already have one engineer standing behind here and another one over there, very happy to help out.
Okay.
It looks like a very robust machine. It's not a flimsy machine, very heavy in structure.
Thank you.
And I've also found the company personnel here very focused in terms of helping you to solve your problem, rather than here's a one solution to fit all circumstances. And as you know, every company is very different, and many companies have very particular requirements in terms of my space constraints, and the company has been very, very helpful in trying to help me to solve my problem.
Thank you so much.
It's been a very positive experience for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
再照一下，这么短啊！
来，好。
再给你来个特写。Peace.
来吧。
Hey guys, what's going on? Dan here with Walnut Ridge. Exciting day today. As you can see, we're at the Keystone factory. We're actually going to go back and we're going to spend the day in the Cougar plant looking how they actually manufacture Cougar fifth wheels. We're going to go back. Okay guys, what's up? Dan here. So we are actually in plant 3 right now, which is the Cougar fifth wheel plant. As you'll see from the videos, there's just tons and tons of activity and moving about going on. We're gonna go over here and we're gonna talk to Matt and get some more details on exactly like how many are being put out every day. Matt, how you doing, buddy?
Good, how are you?
So I just told the camera we're here in plant 3, correct?
Plant 2.
Plant 2. And this is the Cougar fifth wheel plant.
That's correct.
I see a ton of activity going on. I know we'll get like more into detail with exactly what's going on. But on this scale, like how many units are you guys putting out a day?
Well, during the peak season, which is what we're in right now, our plant will finish complete building 22 units a day.
Wow.
Now there's a huge misconception on when we talk about how many units we build a day, that the customers will perceive sometimes that we build from start to finish 22 units a day.
Right.
That we're rushing through these things to get them done, and that's not the case. It actually takes the process from the time the units, the sidewalls get ordered from our lamination facilities, generally several weeks ahead of time.
Okay.
We build as much of the stuff that we can offline, like our cabinets. You'll see up here in our cabinet shop, we're building cabinets, getting in preparation for the unit starting to be run 4 or 5 days from now.
Oh,
so
okay.
when the unit hits the line, that's the first station at the door where it comes in, the raw frame comes in. The frame's going to get flipped, the underbelly's going to get put on, the axles, and so on and so forth. That's the first station. That from station 1 to the door, there's 24 different stations.
Wow.
Okay. But reality is, once it gets through floors and it starts coming down the line, we're assembling. As you'll see right there, those walls are pre-built. We built those walls offline, and now they're assembling the interior walls of the unit. Okay?
So by doing that, number one, it speeds up, it makes it more efficient, but it also condenses your work area because you're doing that outside of this building, correct?
That's for what? Our cabinets are being done inside this building. Now we have several support plants. We have a plant that's over there that provides all of our interiors. So our balances, our lambrequin legs, those are all built ahead of time.
Okay.
We have our countertop shop that's here that builds most of our cabinets. Now some of the cabinets we do purchase from outside vendors, like our solid surface countertops, we do buy that from an outside vendor.
Right.
But most of our cabinets are actually built in-house. So all of the parts are in the different stations waiting to be assembled. When that unit hits that door and is coming down line, they're all ready to be able to put those pieces into those units, okay, and basically start assembling the unit, all right? It's really interesting to see when you start there, where you have a raw frame.
Yep.
I can walk you through this plant, by the time you get to the end of the line, you have a completed unit. And when we do plant tours with customers every week, we do them every Wednesday here, we have customers, and they're just blown away at how much we do in a day. And I always have to stress the fact that that's not a day's worth of preparation. It's weeks worth of preparation to have those parts already built ahead of time and to be able to assemble them. Every one of our facilities is dedicated to that product line. This plant right here builds nothing but Cougar fifth wheel. Take a look right now. They're getting ready to flip that frame. Now we install that underbelly and our insulation in that underbelly from the top down, not from the bottom up. So we have this big machine that'll come over and flip this frame over so that we can put that underbelly on. That underbelly is part of our polar package that helps trap the heat inside where the water lines are and where the holding tanks are to keep things from freezing up. It's also going to keep road debris, salt, whatnot from getting into your vital components that are inside that underbelly. See that foil-looking stuff they're installing? That's astrofoil, bubble foil insulation. That's going in underneath the holding tank. That's going to help reflect cold air from the ground from coming up into your tank. It's also going to help trap the heat that's being pumped into your furnace through a heat run that goes into your underbelly to try to trap hot air around your water line.
As you can see, once you get into a rhythm, and like Al was talking about earlier, you get set on a specific job, you become so clean and efficient at it. But what a cool process to put that underbelly on. And you know, Al talked earlier about how important that underbelly is, not only to prolong how long you can camp because you're keeping your pipes and stuff from getting too cold, but also you're keeping all that debris and stuff from flipping up underneath. Such a cool process to see.
Right here outside the plant, you can see these are the frames that are getting ready to be brought inside to start building on. You'll notice on each one of those frames that they have model numbers on them.
Yep.
Cougar half-ton 32 VHS. I like to show customers this portion of it because to me I think it's really unique. Not every manufacturer engineers their own frames. Some of the manufacturers will draw a floor plan, send it to Lippert, our frame manufacturer, and then they'll engineer that frame for them. We actually have our engineers engineer these frames specifically to our guidelines. We hold those guidelines for them. Now our frame manufacturer is right over there, so we send engineering prints to our frame manufacturer, who then produces the frame, get them out here and get them ready.
So hold on a second. So the frame manufacturer is, you said right over there, like 10 miles?
Like a quarter mile that way.
So if you have any kind, like you're doing your own designs, but if you have any problem, they're a stone's throw away to where you guys can go and like work that.
They can go on the fly.
That's got to be amazing having them in the backyard like that.
It is.
Okay.
Absolutely. They're a vital part of what we do. Obviously, every one of these are built onto a frame. So, and Lippert is probably 95% of all frames that are being built out there. So, as a strategic partner with us, they're very close by, so we can make changes on the fly if we need to, or if something comes in and it's not quite correct, they can correct that frame or get a new one out to us right away. So you got a raw frame here, and I was going to show you this inside the plant, but since we're standing here, Cougar and Keystone have patented max turn technology. Okay, well, you'll see that in our brochures. We talk about it all the time. Max turn technology enables the customers in a fifth wheel without having to buy a gimmicky type of a hitch to gain a higher turning radius in their fifth wheels before that corner will blow out that rear window. Our frames are strategically designed. You can see this bend all in one piece, giving structural integrity to the front of that frame and allowing the cutaways for when that cap comes on and that pin box extends out, you're going to be able to achieve a higher turning radius.
This is very, very cool. So now we're going to see from start to finish, and this is obviously the first step. You can't have a trailer without having a frame, right? Yep. And then we're going over this way.
Yep.
Okay guys, so we just came in from where the frames are brought in, the floor's put on. Matt has stopped me. I see a lot of wire behind me, and I think it's something he's going to want to talk about. So Matt, tell me about this.
So when customers walk in and out of shows, they walk in and out of units, they always look at the wood, the sofas, the floor plans. What they don't always see is the stuff behind the walls. About 2 years ago, our company invested millions of dollars to be the first RV company out there to adapt a uniform wiring schematic. So every Keystone trailer has color-coded and numbered wiring that's going to go to every electrical component in the unit. Now, why did we do this? Customers can't see it, we can talk about it, they don't really know the value of it. But the purpose of it was if a customer has a problem down the road, that the amount of time that it takes to diagnose that problem, the amount of time that it takes to figure out what is going on with it is dramatically reduced, okay? So that we can get that customer back on the road camping again, get their unit fixed and get them back on the road camping again. Here's our floor in a full-size Cougar. You'll notice, one, we call that big board. That is Dynaspan flooring. That comes in 24 by 8 foot sheets, so there's no seams within that floor.
That is a solid piece.
That's a solid piece. So anybody who lives in a place that's humid knows if you've got wood flooring in your house and it gets humid, that wood will expand and you can get expansion and popping and creaking of that floor.
Yep.
In the summertime, when you run your heater, it takes all the moisture out of the air and that floor can contract. We use Dynaspan because there's no seams. That eliminates the chance for the expansion and the contraction based on the moisture content in the air.
But you're starting to see a frame take shape right in front of you. So as you see, he's putting the linoleum on here. Now we've got a complete linoleum right here. We have our fiberglass insulation. We have our underbelly protection. We're starting to get some frames on, some walls built in the background. So we're upstairs. Matt saw me. He's got some gadgets in his hands. I think he wants to tell us about them. So let's hear what you got there, buddy.
So last year we went on a mission with Cougar, not just with Cougar, but in Keystone, to try to figure out how to build the best heating and cooling efficient units that's out there. One of the problems that every RV encounters over time is that the amount of airflow that you're getting out of your air conditioner. This is what your ductwork looks like right here. That's inside your room. See how wide it is? And it almost just flows, okay? The way most manufacturers will do this ductwork is they'll take two pieces of this ductwork like this, butt them up together and tape them with this silver type tape, okay? Well, what happens is if insulation is laying on top of it, it can kind of crush that ductwork. Okay, a couple things can happen. It can crush that ductwork and help and reduce the amount of airflow that you're getting out of your ductwork. Also, sometimes these pieces of tape come apart. And when they does, you'll get a break into that ductwork, and here an air will escape into your roof, okay? Making, when it's hot outside like it is today, difficult to cool your unit down. What Keystone did is they developed an AC coupler system, something we're very proud of. I basically took 2 pieces of ductwork to show how we do this, but we take this coupler, we join the pieces of ductwork together, then we take this tape and we tape around it, making it so that this ductwork right here cannot be crushed. I don't know if you can get a picture on the inside of seeing how it keeps that ductwork open, okay? But it keeps that ductwork from getting crushed. And this has dramatically increased the airflow that we have in our AC systems.
Just this simple little piece that just took a little bit of ingenuity.
Yep.
And created this, and I can totally see how that makes a difference, because if you just got a seam with tape all around it, it's going to be so flimsy.
Right.
But this gives it that nice structural integrity. So simple, yet so effective.
That's so effective. I mean, it takes time, it takes the care, and that's what we're working to do all the time. Just trying to figure out how to give that customer a better camping experience. It's unfortunate that not every customer can see the little things like the color-coded wiring or these AC couplers, to see what we put into the units to make it a better camping experience for them. So I'm pretty proud of how we've done this. I'm proud of the fact that last year that Cougar had went to a new racetrack AC system, and what that does is it moves your main AC all the way to the rear of the trailer. You have a second AC that's in the front. When you run 2 ACs into your unit, you're running into a big loop, okay? So you have 2 legs coming off your air conditioner, evenly distributing air all the way throughout. Your front AC is pushing air to the back, your back AC is pushing air to the front. And when you add this to it, you have the best cooling efficient unit that's out there. We run 15,000 standard BTU ACs, 13.5s in your bedroom, both of them are ducted.
So I was just out here talking to Matt, and I'm like, hey, do you camp a lot? Do you own a camper? And Matt was like, well, no, I don't have to. And then he started telling me why. And Matt, if you don't mind, I'm making you repeat yourself a lot today, but it's such good information. Tell them what you were telling me.
Yeah, so we have a thing called Camp Keystone, where we set up every year at a local campground. We'll set up a half dozen or so trailers that we've built for our employees to use. We open up signups in March. It's open to all their families and to be able to go out and use them. The only thing we require is that they provide the product manager with feedback on the unit. Things they like, things they didn't like. It helps us in figuring out how we can build a better trailer. It also gets the people that you see building these units camping in them as well. So they come back to their stations to start building these things, and they have their own experiences in a camper, and they're like, man, I really didn't like how that bedroom was laid out. Maybe we can do it a little bit different. It's a huge part of what we do, and we work at shows all the time, and we have customers who say, man, do the people who build these things actually camp in them? Yeah, we do. Every one of us does. As a matter of fact, in our sales department, all of our regional sales managers, product managers, and GMs are required once a year to go out and stay in one, and we have a kind of a retreat in them where we learn about them. We learn how to use them. We learn what we like. We learn what we don't like. So it's a big part of our culture here at Keystone, and we're proud of the fact that all of our employees have the ability to use all the products that we build at no charge.
Coming down towards the end of the line, I think we're about 2 steps away from a unit being pushed all the way out the door.
That's right.
And Matt stopped me, and I think we're leaning against some furniture right now, and I wanted him to talk a little bit about that. And then I'm hoping here in the next step or two, we're going to talk in command, maybe?
Yep, absolutely.
All right, great. So Matt, go ahead.
So we're here in Furniture Row, and every time I walk with a customer through the plant, they always feel like the furniture gets put in before the walls of the trailer get built. That's not true. We actually make sure that every floor plan is engineered so that the furniture can come in and out that door. You're actually going to see him load these sofa. Most of our furniture will come apart into a couple pieces, and every piece of furniture gets loaded into the unit towards the end of the line, which means that if it gets damaged or if you want to replace it, or you need to get it out for any reason, it can also come out that door. And that's important for us too, because not every customer is going to want to keep the furniture that we put in there. And they may want to have the ability to be able to take it out. So every piece of furniture goes both in and out of that entry door after the unit's already built.
See, these are the kind of things that I'm so glad you let us come here today for, because these are the things that maybe we at the dealership level need to get better at sharing with people, because I didn't even know that, and that is a huge seller, because if you think about it, you get in these units and you're like, I love everything about it, but I hate the couch. Just get rid of the couch. Like, if you're in love with that floor plan, and to know that you don't have to have the slide taken out or whatever. Again, I've seen little things all day long as we went down through here that set you guys apart, and it's those little things all added up together that make this such an awesome brand. And I'm so glad we've got to highlight it. And I know we're not done yet. I'm not wrapping up the video. I'm just blowing on you guys a little bit right now because this is awesome.
Yeah, we're engineering these units to be livable, or to be able to enjoy yourself camping, but also to be towable, to be able to take it anywhere you want to go, to be affordable. I mean, RVing is still the most affordable way to spend your time with your family. It's still a lot less expensive than traveling through the country. All of those things are what make camping great, and if we lose sight of that, and all of a sudden this fifth wheel becomes $150,000, or it's so heavy that nobody can tow it, then it takes away from what makes camping so great, what makes RVing so great, and owning an RV so great.
Couldn't agree more. Okay, so we're at a completed unit. We've just stepped outside of the factory. We're finally to one of the coolest parts for me, because I'm an IT guy, a computer geek, and that's the in command, which I don't know anything about except that it's awesome. So I'm gonna let Matt, the expert, talk about it. I will say this, and hopefully he touches upon it, I can't imagine he won't. When you get in there and look at the color-coded wires. So when we started this whole conversation way back at the beginning, you're kind of seeing, number one, all of it put together, but then the importance of these wires. So I'm not gonna steal your thunder. Go for it, buddy.
So like you said about the wiring, a couple years ago when we started switching over to color-coded wiring, we were also working on this system with one of our partners, ASA, called In Command. The color-coded wiring provided the infrastructure for us to be able to bring this sort of technology to the RVs. I'll tell you the reasons why that I chose to put In Command in the Cougars, or why we as a division decided to put In Command in the units. There's some cool features with it, like it allows you to utilize your telephone, your Android device, your iPhone device, to be able to operate your slide rooms, to be able to turn on and off lights, to operate your awnings. Those are some really neat functions of that system, but to me it's not the most important function of the system. This system provides the infrastructure for additional redundancy in your system, okay? For those customers that don't care to use their phone, that's not a big benefit to you, right? If you don't care to have it on a remote, but you do have all of your stuff located in a central spot. But the redundancy I'm talking about is that every unit now has, within Command, you have the ability to operate your slide rooms via your smartphone, via your display commander that's inside on your panel. You can operate it right here on this is what we call the BCM that you're going to see in the pass-through of every unit. You see all those different modes? That's going to be an override that allows you to operate if the panel inside went out or your phone wasn't working for whatever reason. It allows you to be able to operate your motor functions, being your slide room and your awnings, right from that control panel. And then every slide out in a Cougar also has a manual override in it. So you actually have 4 different ways to operate your awnings, 4 different ways to operate your awnings, okay? So customers call me and they're concerned about this technology, like, well, what if it goes bad? Will anything work? Our old KIB control monitor panel, like everybody else in the industry uses a switch to operate it, or you can use it manually. So in those older type systems, you only have 2 ways to operate your slide rooms. In a Cougar, you have 4 different ways to operate your slide room. So it's that redundancy in that system that when customers go to look at a unit within Command, should give them the peace of mind that they have more ways to operate their systems. You also have the ability with this new Generation 3 In Command with Global Connect to activate your unit remotely. So if you're at a campground, you're hooked to Wi-Fi, or you got a hotspot in your unit, you're hooked to Wi-Fi, and you're out shopping, or you're a seasonal camper where you leave your RV at a campground and you're getting ready to head over there, you can actually, from your phone, go in and turn on your air conditioner. You can turn on your lights. There's a panic feature inside of it that allows you from your phone or from the display commander inside to hit a button to make every light blink on and off. So if you were in danger, if you had an intruder coming around, or if you just weren't feeling well and you needed some help, you can hit a button and make all your lights on the inside and outside flash as a panic alarm. There's all sorts of cool things. The other thing that it does is customers think, well, I don't want to operate my lights via the remote or the control panel. We have more redundancy there. We put what's called momentary switches for your bedroom and your living room. We're able to put those switches in better spots for the customer. Instead of walking into a central location that's in the unit to operate all your lights, you have the ability to do it from that central location. You have the ability to do it from your phone anywhere in or around the unit. Or we also have those momentary light switches in places that are much better for the consumer than the old way that we built those units. And then from a thermostat standpoint, In Command also controls your AC system and your thermostat. Well, if you walk in any RV, their thermostat's usually in a central location right in front of the door. And in some cases it is with the Cougar as well, but we're able to position, they're called remote temperature probes, to put them in better locations to be able to serve that customer better, to be able to get a better temperature reading in their living room or in their bedroom. So you have more functionality in the unit than any other phone. You have a panic alarm, you have the ability to operate your lights, your awning lights, your bedroom lights, your ceiling lights, either from your phone or from the display commander or from switches. You have redundancy in this system, so you have 4 different ways to operate your motor functions. And the last piece of this, which is, I think, is incredible technology that's out there, is that we partnered with ASA with this Global Connect, that if your unit is hooked to an internet connection, if you're at your at the campground, or even if you're at the side of your house and you're hooked to your Wi-Fi, and you had something that goes wrong, you can call ASA and they can remote into your unit to diag whatever problem it is.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, for people that are cautious about technology, the technology really isn't the key on this. The technology that has based all of this around is CAN bus. They call it RVC. We have more and more vendors working. We work with Dometic, we work with RVP, we're working with more and more vendors to put this sort of CAN bus technology or RVC technology in it, so it will work with this type of system, whether it be In Command, or I know that there's several other competitors are making similar type products.
Right.
This product, this type of technology is here to stay, and it is for the benefit of the customer. It really is. It's not just a gadget that's out there for them to play with. It's to make the camping experience better. And if you were to talk to the guys down on the line and ask them what they think about it, because they're a great judge of, you know, they're the ones that are building it, they're the ones that are installing it. It's a simple install. It's virtually bulletproof. We have very few problems with it. And we're working with companies that stand behind it.
Right.
So it is something that's just absolutely fantastic for the customer. I'm excited to see where this is going to go over the next couple of years and what it's going to give us the ability to do.
Right.
And it's awesome that Cougar's right on the forefront on it, and that we have the infrastructure and the technology and that foundation to be able to take this to completely a different level.
I love technology. I've always loved technology, but if I didn't, that sales pitch you gave me right there, I'm like, hey, can't hurt. And when you see all the other features and bells and whistles in a Cougar, that's just an added bonus. I mean, that's one more reason to buy a Cougar.
So this is the display commander for the In Command system. This is going to be located in a central location in the unit. You're going to have tank monitoring system up here. These are going to be quick access buttons, so turning on and off your water pump is as easy as touching right there. Your water heater, if you want it on gas, electric, or both, it's right there. Here's your panic function. So I don't know if you can get a look at that, but when you hit that panic, all your lights inside the unit and outside the unit will flash on and off. Okay. To operate your slides and your awnings, you'll come in here. This is another nice feature of the system, that you go into most units and there's buttons that say slide 1, 2, 3, and 4, but you have no idea what it operates until you push the button. Now they're all properly labeled. You have bed slide, kitchen slide, sofa slide on off-door side, sofa slide on driver's side, and awning. So all you'd have to do is hit those buttons to operate it. Go back to the home screen. Light groupings, so you have ceiling, which is going to be in your main living room area, your bedroom, and your awning light, so they can all be functioned right from here. Okay. HVAC, and this is one of the cool things for this system is, so now you have 2 different zones. You have zone 1 and zone 2. You're looking at one of those remote temperature probes that's located here. There's going to be another one in your bedroom. Gives you the ability to, you'll see front AC. So right now I'm going to operate the front AC that's in the bedroom. You can set it for heat, cool. You can set it for both. You can also set timers set up to turn on and off automatically. You're not going to get that sort of functionality in a typical Dometic thermostat that gets shipped from the factory. So you can actually change the schedules of these things. You can go in here, same thing with the rear AC. You can actually set your fan to just run without AC on it. You can time that up because it is filtering the air when you do that. And all of this functionality that you see right here is also, you can use it from your smartphone. So or an Android or an iPhone device, okay? So everything that you see here can be done either while inside the unit or outside the unit. It can be done from another part of the country as long as your unit's being hooked to the internet. And we've also had this design with a lockout feature. So none of this stuff will work once the unit's in motion. So once you plug in the 7-way plug in the back of your truck, your brake lights are activated, it locks out all of your motor functions. So somebody couldn't accidentally grab your phone and run your slide out as you're going down the road.
Right,
so,
that makes total sense.
So there was a lot of thought put into this system to be useful to the customer for safety features. Just a really fantastic system.
Okay guys, so we've come to the end of the day. Hopefully I made an awesome video just to kind of highlight and reflect how cool this experience was. I'm hot, I'm hard of hearing, but I loved it. I just wanted to spend all day in there. Matt, thank you so much, and thank you to Keystone both. Like I said earlier in the video, felt the VIP treatment, and it's really cool to actually, I think everyone should come and experience this as much as they can, because if I was out there selling, me putting someone like myself in one of these Cougars, that's a no-brainer right there for me. And seriously, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thank you for coming out. If any of you want to come take a live tour with me or one of our regional sales managers, we do plant tours at Keystone RV every Wednesday. Just call ahead and let them know that you're coming, and at 1 o'clock we'll run you through and do a plant tour with you as well. Thank you very much.
Can you tell what that noise is? It's the sound of money being printed. To be precise, it's the sound of euro banknotes being produced. It could be at any one of the 11 printing locations in the euro area. Between 5 and 6 billion banknotes are printed each year to satisfy demand and replace worn-out banknotes. This is a highly secure area and almost no one is allowed to go in. Here, every can of ink, sheet of paper and scrap of waste material is accounted for. The process starts with the production of a very special kind of paper. Euro banknotes are printed on paper made of pure cotton fibers. This gives the banknotes their special crispness and makes them resistant to wear and tear. At this stage, a watermark and a high-tech security thread are embedded in the paper. A metallic foil is applied to the paper using pressure and heat. At the end of the production process, the paper is cut into sheets and securely transported from the paper mills to the printing works. There are 4 stages to the printing process. The first stage is called offset printing. Here, a multicolored background is printed simultaneously on both sides of the paper. This calls for extreme precision. Then comes the silkscreen printing, when the emerald number is applied to the front of the banknotes. The shiny ink contains special high-tech pigments which allow the number to change color from emerald green to deep blue when the banknote is tilted. The number also displays an effect of the light that moves up and down. During the intaglio printing, ink is applied to the paper under high pressure. This creates high-definition images and a relief structure that can be felt on the left and right edges of the banknote. The numbering press prints a serial number on the back of the notes. Each banknote is given a unique combination of 2 letters and 10 digits. The first letter in the serial number identifies the printing works where the banknote was printed. For instance, these banknotes were printed in Italy. The printed sheets are thoroughly inspected by both machines and humans. Individual sheets are selected at random during each production phase to ensure consistent quality and identify any misprints. The sheets are counted at each stage of the printing process. The printed sheets are then moved on to the finishing process. With surgical precision, cutting machines slice piles of 100 sheets into strips and then again into stacks of banknotes. The quality of the finished product is then checked in an automated process. This ensures that all euro banknotes are identical regardless of where they have been produced. The notes are checked and counted once more before being wrapped in self-sealing plastic film and neatly stacked in cardboard containers slightly bigger than a shoebox. Each box is made to fit 10,000 banknotes. The freshly printed euro banknotes are either stored in high-security vaults or shipped via road, sea or air across the world, ready to enter circulation. To find out more about euro banknotes, visit our website.
Subscribe to our channel and enable notification to get updates with our new videos.
Morning, y'all. We are headed out to Ross Reels today. So for folks who are unfamiliar, these guys are a fly fishing reels company. They have a great facility here in Montrose. They've been located here for over 30 years, I think. So I'm really excited to see it. Let's go check it out.
Been here, Ross Reels has since 1985. It's a really huge advantage to us. It's just under an acre on the base level, and I think it's 41,000 square feet in total. So it's allowed us to grow and to integrate other companies. Let's walk into the assembly area. Really speaks of what we can do. This is a brand new product that for Able, the Rove Reel, that has just been shipping to customers this month on time, which is pretty fascinating considering all the supply chain issues other manufacturers have had. We've had our own. To pull this off has been an amazing feat, and I couldn't be more proud of the team for that. Really, there's so much attention to detail on this. It's all anodized, so it's not a paint that's applied in there. This is actually the aluminum oxide type finish that you'd see with a type 2 anodize, but our artists in California will hand apply that paint per se to this finish and get the exquisite details. You can see the veining. If you zoom in on that central layer of scales, you can see the veining in it.
Oh, I do see it.
It just makes it stands out from anything else that's out on the market. These spools where the line is contained, we design and manufacture in Montrose. The frame that holds everything in place is designed and manufactured here in Montrose. The drag disc underneath with all the flies laser engraved in the background. Same scenario here. The drag knob tying it all together, same scenario. So it's a very unique story of where everything we possibly can manufacture in-house, we do so. This room was designed with the intent of an open approach for our engineering department, which is over here by the American flag, our quality department, which is a team of engineers in this area here, and they're integrated within an area where the assembly team resides as well. So any kind of challenges we uncover, there's someone here who can be communicated with quickly to help address some challenges and overcome obstacles. And I think it's helped us fuse a better team, a greater culture of teammanship, and people feel a bit more as contributing towards the brand and its goals. I think one thing we appreciate about this, call it our beehive here, and you can pan around and see a lot of activity, is these folks are all connected with the brand. They know what's going on. They can give feedback to help us improve our product every single business day. This is pretty cool over here, kind of the final quality touch point that Adam is performing. These are
Adam, Mike.
Nice to meet you. So every reel before it leaves the shop, we make sure to go through, touch it just like a customer would, make sure the drag works, make sure that the spool comes off, make sure that it spins good. On to the next one. We do this before every reel goes in a box, just so when a customer picks it up for the first time, they don't see anything bad about our reels, and almost everyone looks great when it comes out of the box.
And even at this point here, this is the product came from our California facility back to us here in Montrose, which triggers yet another quality checkpoint, where we'll look at the quality of the surface finish and the anodized process and ensure that it meets all of our standards. Once it does, we pass it along to the inventory team to integrate it into further manufacturing steps.
So in our machine shop out here, there's many machines. We're doing setups all the time on different parts that we need, meet demand. And as they are set up, we'll have what's called a first article come in. That will be the first time a part has been ran newly on a new work order. That part will be placed over here and ring in into our quality control system. And if it's a first article, that lets me know I need to do a super thorough check on all of our dimensions according to drawings and what operation's going on, as well as just how things are looking and comparing them to parts that are finished. That helps a lot. What interfaces and if that's fitting well. So for example, I have a little bin of parts here that'll help me do checks like that just to make sure stuff comes through. And then once that first article is approved, it goes back to the machine shop, and that's their go-ahead to run what we call in-process parts. So over the next couple days through the work order, the in-process parts will come in just to ensure that everything's still going as planned. And that's how we get good parts through. Other than that, we have some really cool machinery over here that aids us to do that, other than just the simple calipers, height gauges.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so the new technology that's being incorporated into this quality control process has been really fun to work with.
We're really proud of this area. This is our machining area, where all the components that we manufacture get started from raw material and machined or manufactured in some form in this zone. So this is where the adventure begins for all of our Able reels and Ross reels. They come in the form of bar stock, aluminum bar stock of varying grades and shapes and sizes. And we process them from long bar stock into some workpiece that we can manage. This is a pretty cool approach for us here. It's a very nice automated bandsaw that allows us to cut thousands and thousands of work pieces throughout the year and be very precise with the cuts. You can see it in motion now as we speak. It'll index, feed out to the other location, and make one more cut. In this operation here, we are starting on an Able frame, which has its own size and thickness to the workpiece. And after this first touch point, it is processed to look like this right here. Go through a couple of steps on a generic 2-axis lathe to get it prepared for this cycle. Over here are Animus spools, where we're following a similar process. We're starting with a workpiece cut here and starting on a 2-axis lathe to do the first side profile. And right beside it, so within motion range for the operator, we have the second operation going. Which processes it down from this basic shape and removes the rest of the machining weight, right? Gets it fully prepared for the milling activity that occurs on the spool. These are Animus spools, and the other primary component is an Animus frame. Its manufacturing process is happening right here. And this is a very robust manufacturing process where we leverage the ability our mill turn centers have with automation to process from a puck, a solid workpiece, to this level of product finish right here. So this is right out of the machine. Yeah. Metalworking fluid, stains included here. Yeah. But what this allows is that we can invest the most precise methods and work holding that we possibly can without any touch points in between. Each time you reposition a product, there's a bit of a loss in its product's integrity or how precise it is, and there's also a bit of loss in time. And by manufacturing in this method, we can make quite large batches and get them from raw material to a finished reel in a relatively short cycle. Inside the window now, you can actually see the sub spindle is removing the workpiece from the main spindle and finishing it. So effectively, if this were square features, it'd be shaped as a cube of dice having 6 sides, and we're manufacturing all 6 sides of this workpiece. There's one more step that we take after this where we will mill out the top side features and give it that final cosmetic touch for the customer. In this machining stage here, I think this is a nice shot like this, just how shiny this material is. These are able frames that we've completed the cycles on and are putting a lathe process to finish the face right now. There's very little work that remains now before its final step. At this workstation, we're performing the rotary milling work on an Evolution R-Salt 9-pin frame. So we've got a lathe profile going into the machine and finished frame and stripper post, or foot and stripper post features when it comes out. Benefits of buying a Ross reel or an Able reel is just the attention to detail and quality. And in order for us to pay attention to every single element, we've decided to bring in-house as much of the manufacturing as we possibly can. So this is a prime example of that, being a very little component. It's the handle post that goes in our reels that we use a mill turn machine to produce this out of solid stock and one-touch manufacturing. So we're able to keep an eye on the tolerances, make sure the finish is exact, and finish the workpiece without touching it. This part here is our Evolution LTX drag knob, which just is blossoming with features here. It's over manufactured, but that's exactly what we like to do. And again, it's being processed on a machine that feeds in solid stock and machines every single feature, front side and back side work, all in one touch point. That gives us the advantage of running lights out, controlling our own quality in-house, and minimizing the number of touch points that people or machines have to interact with. Right. Everything that, when combined together, just enhances product quality. This is always a fun point of our tours here, is that we have very little waste going through the factory. This is aluminum, and aluminum is one of the easiest metals to recycle. So by recycling, that's exactly what we do. We keep this out of the landfill. We get paid a little portion of our investment back. Right. And I firmly believe that we've seen some metal come back through our factory that were at one time these chips that were recycled. We've machined so many hundreds of thousands of reels and been in business since 1973. It's a cool story to believe in. Approximately 90 to 94% of the metal that we bring into the factory gets removed in a subtractive process. So these methods and machines that you hear, the noises in the background, there's a lot of metal removed before it turns into a fly reel. Once all the frames and spools and components are finished, they come through this area here, which is our handwork department. They'll pay attention to any sharp edges or features that need to be protected before the next step in the process, which may be a combination of many steps, including vibratory finishing, cleaning, deburring of some method, or high energy finishing, which is this blue machine in front of us here. Yes. This is the team working their magic on all the product. Yet again, another touch point for quality. where if they see any things that should not be there, they can raise the awareness and keep any flaws from getting into customer hands. These products will be isolated into bins around our high energy finishing machine here. And within a short amount of cycle time, all the sharp edges and machining marks get removed from this product. This is our smallest machine in-house. It's a little chucker lathe, a very low horsepower machine, but is just perfect for small components.
Yeah, love it.
As many companies are today, we've been advancing our robotic technology as much as possible. And we have this machine interfaced with a robot to help our operators and machinists tend to multiple machines throughout the day. This is Jim's area here. He is putting the final touches onto an Animus frame. They go into the machine looking like this, and after they come out of the machine, they have virtually no weight left to them, but have all the cosmetic features that we're looking for. Once completed, comes out of the machine with all 6 sides machined, and only one more touch point left where we'll put the final porting on the top of the frame. Lots of features in this product line. It takes a considerable amount of time to manufacture a via spool. And they're rather heavy when they're in this spool blank form, so there's a lot of metal removed from the milling cycle. You can see the difference in these two parts here, to where one is finished, one is not. The operator can be processing this side here with everything that's in the machine now, and external to the machine be loading and preparing a pallet that'll focus on the backside work. So it's got an ability to semi-automate the process, and on each cycle they have some throughput. They have something that can be turned into a reel. This is our research and development area of the factory, where we can focus on new product development, or in a case of this nature, we're actually using the machine for product that we need in a short amount of time. So it serves two purposes, gives us the ability to have more capacity in the factory, but also gives us the ability to design and manufacture brand new product without disrupting the natural flow of all the other SKUs that we manage. We like to use the phrase hatching the match. And in fly fishing terms, an angler's reaction to what's already happening is matching the hatch. But when we think of it from a business perspective, we hatch the next idea. We like to lead the industry, been very talented at doing so, and so it's a funny little buzz phrase that we've come up with internally.
That's great.
To keep us thinking outside the box and being innovative. What we do during the day is make fly reels. That's great. Been an awesome career. We provide memories for a lot of people, but what do we do to secure the future of the trade, but also of the industry of fly fishing? And I think this development where we are today in this factory is a great story, where the parent company donated back to the city of Montrose 1.5 miles of river access. That through all my life being a native to this region has always been private land that you could not trespass and enjoy, is now forever protected and has been improved upon. The Corps of Engineers and the city and many others were involved in truing up the river channels, enhancing the waterway for channeling and having more fish in the ecosystem, you might say, more carrying capacity, making it better than it was, and giving back to the public for their enjoyment. They've now constructed a trail system, so it's a cement pathway that we see people go by just continuously now and enjoying it. Another thing I'd add is, just like we heard from Dan, is, you know, how do we sow those seeds of future generations? We've been active within the community to make sure our doors are open for the education systems to come in here, to let their students see what this area has to offer and see what types of industries exist at an age and a time in their life that it can make an impact and change their trajectory of what they pursue. I think Dan's a very cool example of that. So that's some things we do behind the scenes that not too many people would know about.
Just got done with my tour at Ross Reels. What an amazing company. Thank you to Tony and everybody at Ross Reels for having me. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the tour as much as I did. Let me know in the comments if you like this style of video. Make sure to subscribe. And as always, thanks for supporting your country and shopping American made. See y'all next time.
Today we really are doing something a little bit different. I've been lucky enough to be invited to the new Norton factory in Solihull. As we know, Norton's been purchased by TVS, and I've been invited here to have a tour of the facility. There's some other people here, other media people here, but we're going to have a good look around here. And for those which are interested in Norton, I mean, who isn't? You know, they've been through the mill recently in the press and with everything that's been going on. This is a chance to show off the new facility and some of the new models they've got coming out for 2020, or updated models. So if that sounds of interest, sit back, grab yourself a cuppa, chopsy, roll the intro.